It all began as an ordinary day in September. An ordinary day in Raccoon City. A city controlled by Umbrella. No one dared to oppose them, and that lack of strength would ultimately lead to their destruction. I suppose they had to suffer the consequences of their actions, but there would be no forgiveness. If only they had had the courage to fight. It's true that once the wheels of justice begin to turn, nothing can stop them. Nothing. It was Raccoon City's last chance, and my last chance. My last escape.
This is Chopper Delta, preparing to drop off at area E95070. Over.
What are they?
Farewell to my life. Farewell to my home. This is my last chance for survival. This is my last escape. Greetings and salutations, and this is Tech Playz here with the new Let's Play. This one's a little bit out of my comfort zone, and I'll get into why in a moment. Well, actually I can get into it right now. I've never beaten an RE game with tank controls before. This is the first time I've done that. Because tank controls have always been something that, like... And this isn't even, like, fully my fault, right? And I'll explain why. I'll have to shut up shortly, because cutscene incoming. Yeah.
September 28th, daylight. The monsters have overtaken the city. Somehow, I'm still alive. Okay, we've got to get out of here.
What? What do you think you're talking about? I just lost my daughter out there! How dare you tell me to go back outside?
I'm sorry about your daughter, but there isn't gonna be any rescue. We have to get out of here.
No! I'm not going anywhere. I'd rather starve to death in here than be eaten by one of those undead monsters! Now leave me alone!
Oh, that guy. So, fun fact, I know about the, like, I don't know if it's counted as an Easter egg or what, but I know you can come back, find him dead later. I never come back here. After he dies, though, I kind of mainly use this point as a save point in the early game, and, yeah, I know you come back to the side of Raccoon City, late in the game, but I never, like, revisit this room then. So I never get to see the Easter egg, but he does die later. Unlike in the remake, where you only see him hide, you could talk to him a couple times. His characterization is a lot better here too, because he actually has a reason for wanting to hide. Whereas in the remake, he just seems like a paranoid jerk. Here, he actually, like, he saw his daughter die. He, like, says that, and he doesn't want to, like, die the same way. And, like, I get that. That's like, a traumatizing thing. Your kid dies. Like, I get that. You have, you have an excuse to be scared. Like, you're traumatized. Like, here, it's, like, better written, which is crazy to me, because the remake is better written in a lot of places, in my honest opinion. But there are a couple things here that the original does better, including that guy. The original also does Nemesis better, but Nemesis doesn't really have any writing, per se. He just says stars. So for Nemesis, it's more of a gameplay thing, and gameplay in this game is way better. But yeah, let me get into why, like, I've always struggled with tank controls, why this is the first time I'm, like, deciding to get used to them. And it takes me about like half the game to get used to them. I think by the time I reach the clock tower, I've pretty much gotten used to them. But like, well, for the most part, I don't think I really get good at using the tank controls until at the end of the game. But like, I get used to them enough where I'm not struggling by the clock tower. But if you don't know, the clock tower is the halfway point of the game, just like in the remake. But in the remake, the clock tower is just a set piece in the background to fight Nemesis, which is, geez, like, I'm gonna be honest here, like, I keep dodging, like, why I struggled with tank controls for so long. I'll get to that in a moment, but after playing this game, I finally get the hate for the remake, and, like, okay, my opinion on the RE3 remake is still kind of, it kind of leans more positive than negative still. Like, I still have fun with the game, but I still have a lot of bad to say with the game. It's definitely like a 6 out of 10 for me, where, like, it's passable, it's a fun time, but, like, there's a lot of bad stuff I have to say about it, especially after playing this game. Like, I would have ranked, like, the RE3 remake a 7 out of 10 until I played the original. Now it would be, like, a strong, literally strong locked-in 6. I would never put it above a 6. Maybe I would put it at a 5 if it wasn't for the fact that the 3 remake is fun if you speedrun it. That's the only, like, thing saving it from being a 5, is that it's fun to speedrun. But I never got, like, the hate for the RE2, or not RE2, the RE3 remake. Actually, I still don't get the hate for the RE2 remake. Even if I played the original, I don't think I would get it, because, like, yeah, they got rid of the zapping system, but that's all they got rid of in the RE2 remake. It's roughly, if I'm not mistaken, I believe RE2 Remake's actually a longer game than the original. Let me fact check that. I never played the original. Obviously, the original is available on modern consoles, so maybe I'll play it one day. But I just feel like, with how much I love the RE2 Remake, I think I would have too much of a bias to really enjoy the original RE2. The reason I chose this one over the original RE2 is because I already had, like, a mixed opinion on the RE3 remake. So yeah. So what I'm gathering here when I'm fact checking myself on, like, the length of the original RE2 is that it seems like the original RE2 is about, I'm checking the specifics for the remake. Like, even though, like, a run of the remake for me nowadays is like 5 hours per run, like, per first run, and, like, second runs can kind of vary depending, but I'm trying to, like, the initial runs I had of RE2 Remake were like 8 hours, and right? And I'm going off, like, my own experience for RE2 Remake. I tried to, like, fact check myself on what, like, it says on Google to see, like, if I could get, like, a more accurate thing, but I guess I'm just going off my own experience into that and comparing it to what I see said about the original. So, my initial run of RE2 Remake for a first run was, like, 8 hours. and second run was like 7, I want to say. Nowadays, it's like 5 hours for both, but sometimes the second run can run a little longer depending on how much trouble it gives me. Second runs are more difficult in RE2 Remake, if you don't know what I mean. Like, enemies are... There are harder enemies placed in places where they weren't in the first run, stuff like that. Especially if you save Leon for second run like I do. I always save Leon for second run because he's got the harder campaign anyway due to weaker weapons and such. And that kind of like... Well, he's got the Magnum, but you barely get Magnum ammo in RE2 Remake. You barely get Magnum ammo in any RE game, except for the one I'm playing right now, but that's because I played on easy. And I'm going to get into why I did that in a moment. I really didn't want to play on easy, but I kind of, like, caved in after so much struggling. Because I wanted to, like, enjoy this game for the first time. This isn't, like, me doing my best run type of thing, like I did with the RE3 Remake and the RE2 Remake. My Let's Plays for both of those were literally me recording my best runs of those games to date. So, like, well, actually I can't say that, because I think my RE3 Remake run was like an hour, 40-something minute run of hardcore. And my best RE3 run to date for the remake is an hour and 12 minutes for Nightmare Mode, which is the most fun I've ever had playing that game. That's why I said it's a good game for speedruns, especially on the harder difficulties. Speedrunning that game on Nightmare Mode is fantastic. But that's the only way I can have fun with it anymore, is speedrunning on Nightmare Mode, because Inferno is ridiculous. Fuck Inferno. And hardcore and all the like lower difficulties are not really fun in that game. The reason I have so much fun with Nightmare Mode is because it rearranges stuff where it's more interesting, where it's more challenging. And it kind of like makes up for the poor game design. Because after the Raccoon City Streets of the remake, it's poor game design. But let me get into like why I have struggled with take controls finally, because I've been rambling on about other stuff. The reason I struggle with tank controls is really simple. Aside from, like, the initial, like, learning curve that tank controls obviously come with in the first place. The only game that forced me to use tank controls, right, was Code Veronica. Up until, like, the original trilogy got ported to PS5, which, yeah, the entire original trilogy are on PS4 and PS5 now. I did play a little bit of Director's Cut, but of RE1. Didn't really have too much fun with that one. But this one I have a lot of fun with. This one's kind of like the game that broke me and kind of made me go, you know what, I'm learning tank controls because this is fun so far. Like, what really got me was when I get, like, this video right here was basically the testing of this game for me. Like, if I did not enjoy this first 55 minutes of gameplay, which I did cut it down a little bit, but if I had not enjoyed this first 55 minutes of gameplay, you're watching me be a little lost right here if I'm not mistaken. I'm not sure. But if I did not enjoy this first 55 minutes of gameplay, I would have dropped it, because I was struggling with tank controls, so like I would have dropped it. See, I'm running into walls and stuff, and I'm struggling to like keep centered. But yeah, what messed me up on tank controls was that, like, when I initially tried to get used to tank controls to play Code Veronica, which didn't go well, I ended up dropping that game in like 5 minutes because I kept dying at the very fucking start. But what made me, like, struggle with tank controls for that game, aside from, like, having, like, 6 zombies in, like, the second room you can enter, third room, whatever, which this game throws a lot of zombies at the start as well, but you're given room to run from most of them. But yeah. What I struggled with was, I looked up tips on, like, getting used to tank controls, and the only one that seemed to be common was, use the D-pad, not the analog stick. And, like, I was like, okay, well, let's try that, but the D-pad makes you slow. The D-pad makes you super slow, and it's, like, a lot harder to get used to. Like, the advice was, start with the D-pad to get used to it. And I was like, okay, let's try that. I found out those people, no, those people must be on something. Like, those people really must be on something, because like the D-pad's the way to go once you're used to it. Like, once I get to like the clock tower, I do start using the D-pad consistently, because once you're used to it, the D-pad is easier to use out of the two. But starting, the analog stick is easier if you're trying to move while turning. Because moving while turning with the D-pad, until you're used to the tank controls a little bit, is a pain. It's like a big ass pain. I also love that you could shove enemies. I think the dodge is better, but you can't shove enemies. Except Nemesis. I don't think there was ever a point in the game let me shove Nemesis. When I try to like do the button prompt to shove Nemesis, well, I can't call it a button prompt. When I try to push the button to shove Nemesis, it kind of just like goes, nah, you can't do that. Same with the dodge though. The dodge doesn't work that often with Nemesis either. Like, I had to start keeping my distance in the late game with Nemesis because I would keep dying from trying to dodge him. The dodge does not work as well with Nemesis. Like, you'll see me like fight regular enemies like zombies, dogs, hunters, all that stuff. And the game will be like, oh, you can dodge left and right here. But then Nemesis shows up, and the game is like, no, this is illegal. The dodge doesn't work anymore. And it does work sometimes with Nemesis, but not a lot. So, I kind of feel bad for Brad in the original here.
Why isn't someone doing something about this?
But I'll get into that in a minute. I'm gonna let this cutscene play.
The police aren't trained for this kind of situation. What could they do? Listen, he's coming for us. We're both gonna die.
What are you saying?
You'll see. He's after STARS members. There's no escape.
So, I'm gonna get into what I was talking about just a moment ago. Sorry, I really gotta clear my throat. I did just wake up, and all I've had since I woke up is like a little soda for my throat and a peppermint. I need to eat another peppermint. If you hear noises, me grabbing a peppermint, because I have a bag of peppermints right here for my throat. I have had a scratchy throat lately, which is why I have these. Sorry about all the noise. I'm struggling to grab it. Yeah, because peppermints are my go-to if I got like a sore throat or scratchy throat. It's not sore, it's just kind of scratchy right now, so. That's why you keep hearing me clear my throat. But yeah, now I got a peppermint in my mouth. Let me throw the wrapper away. I got a peppermint in my mouth. Yes, I'm eating a peppermint in August. This video goes up in October, but like I'm eating a peppermint in August. Don't judge me. Peppermints are my go-to throat clearer. Get over it. I love peppermints. I fucking love peppermints. But yeah, back to what I was saying. I never realized it until I played the original, but the remake makes Brad look pathetic. And it's funny, because here he's shown to be more cowardly. But in a way, that makes him more sympathetic, because you kind of get why he's acting all cowardly once you see Nemesis show up. And I know people give, like, Brad a lot of shit for being, like, a coward. I know people give him a lot of shit for that. But I feel like that only applies to, like, RE1 in its remake. Because he basically just flies off in the helicopter. And I know there's an argument to be made that he was trying to keep the helicopter safe or whatever. I've seen people make that argument. I've never, like, been involved in those arguments, but I've seen message threads on the internet of people, like, arguing over that. And, like, I get it. Like, maybe he was just doing his job, but he's definitely a coward in the original RE1 and its remake. He's definitely a coward there, but he still does help his friends at the end of the game. So there is a thing to be said there. Like, he is a coward, but he's also, like, a good person. As long as the fact that he's a good person is what makes him sympathetic here, because he does try to warn Jill. He's like, there's something, like, after us or whatever. He does try to warn Jill. And then, like, when Jill gets to the Raccoon City police station at the end of this video, he tries to warn her again right before Nemesis shows up. Like, he is trying to help Jill, but he gets killed. And it's like, I feel more sympathetic for him here because he seems like a guy who's just like was trying to do his job, and then Nemesis showed up. That's what he seems like. Whereas in the remake, he seems like an idiot who lets himself get killed by a horde of zombies. A horde of zombies that in gameplay you could have taken down with just a handgun, by the way. It wasn't even that many zombies. Especially like something that the later game in the hospital shows. You definitely could take them down with just a gun. I don't think Jill had a gun yet in the game at that point, but you get my point. If they would have both exited through the alley and Jill grabbed that gun, he wouldn't have had to die to zombies. I mean, he would have ended up dying Nemesis anyway, which is probably a worse death, but like, at least there you could say you went down by something that isn't fodder. Zombies have always been like the fodder enemy in these games. They're like the main enemy, they're weak. The only games they're actually like a real threat in are the RE1 and RE2 remakes. Because RE3 remake, even though it does have like a lot of the mechanics for zombies that RE2 remake has, they're still kind of pushovers in that game. Even on like nightmare difficulty, they're not that bad. In RE2 remake and RE1 remake, zombies are a real threat because in RE1 remake they can become Crimson Heads. And I don't think I even need to explain why they're a threat in RE2 remake. I don't think I even need to explain that. But in every other game outside of like the remakes of 1 and 2, zombies have always just been like the weak fodder enemy that's there for like just challenge. They're just there for regular challenge of preserving resources. They're the one enemy where it's pretty safe to run past them half the time. You don't see me do that a lot here, but that's because I'm playing on easy mode, and easy mode gave me a shit ton of ammo to work with. I also want to get into the fact that I'm only using a handgun right now. You might be wondering, you're on easy mode, you got all these guns, yada yada yada. Yeah, I wanted to play this as close to how the game is supposed to be played as possible. But I still wanted, like, all the ammo. So I did, like, a middle ground. Like, I let myself use all the ammo that, like, easy mode gives you. But I also decided that, oh, hey, I'm not going to use a gun until I find it out in the wild. That was my rule. So, like, at the start of the game, I'm only allowed to use the handgun and the rifle. Until I find the shotgun later in this video, then I'm like, okay, I can use the shotgun now. And then, like, in the next video, I think it is, we find the Magnum. It's either... Yeah, no, I think it's in the next video, because we reached the Raccoon City police station at the end of this one. So it's definitely in the next video, we pick up the Magnum, and then, like, a couple videos after that, we pick up the grenade launcher. I wish they would have been the other way around, because the Magnum, I feel like is a little underwhelming compared to the grenade launcher here. I feel like the remake gets some better, where like the Magnum, and here's the thing, you're not going to hear me praise the RE3 remake too much here. Like, I'm definitely giving more praise to this game in general. Like, I only have like a few things to say about the RE3 remake in a positive light when compared to this game. I don't know why I didn't cut out all these parts of me looking at the map, because I do that going forward, but for this first video I didn't do it. You'll also notice in this first video that we have black sides, I forget what they're called, on the sides here. I fixed that in later videos. I don't know if people would prefer to watch this video at this screen resolution or at the other one, but I do change it to like full screen, like, or not full screen, but to where it stretches across the whole screen for future parts, because I personally think it looks better for like a Let's Play. That might just be me, but I personally think it looks better for a Let's Play than this does. And once I figured out you could do that, I was like, oh shit, well, this actually works better. Also, having it at that stretch screen did make, like, seeing everything easier for me, if that makes sense. Like, Because here, it's easy for me, like, this first almost hour of gameplay that I did, I had a little bit of trouble, like, telling, like, items you could pick up from the environment sometimes. But once, like, I stretched the screen out, it became obvious. Because, like, something I didn't notice in this first part, because the screen is, like, a little smaller, so it's a little harder to tell, is that items you can pick up are a 3D model, and everything else is pre-rendered. Because of this, the items have more polygons on them, whereas the backgrounds all look pixelated. You can start telling the difference was a little better once the screen is stretched out. Obviously, you could already tell the difference with, like, healing items and ammo, but there are, like, some things that are easy to miss. You'll get what I mean. There are some things that are easy to miss until the screen is stretched out. Like, specifically the handgun ammo, the grenade ammo, and the herbs are real easy to spot. They all stand out. But then, like, it's a little easy at first to miss the first aid sprays sometimes. It's also, like, a little easy to miss the shotgun shells at times. But then, like, once I shut the screen out, I was like, oh, I could see those everywhere. But yeah. Let's go ahead and save. Let's get my first save out of the way. Yeah. Or my second. Really? Did I save at the start of the... Okay, I didn't. I don't remember saving at the start of the game, but apparently I did. Okay. That was kind of a wasted save if I did save at the start of the game. I'm glad there's unlimited ink ribbons, or that would have been a waste. I mean, we're on easy mode. Even if there wasn't infinite ink ribbons, they still would have given me like 20-something. I'm going off the fact that, like, my first run of RE1 Remake was its easiest difficulty. And the easiest difficulty in that game gives you like 27 ink ribbons, if I remember correctly. I don't know how many the hardest difficulty gives. I just remember the number for the easiest mode and the medium mode. And I'm calling it easiest and medium mode because they're called easy and very easy, even though, like, in a modern game, they would be considered normal and easy. Not easy and very easy. There seems to have been, like, a very different, like, definition of what easy mode was back then compared to now. Because to me, easy mode's the mode that gives you no trouble. It's the baby mode. You should not be playing it. But in this game, I had to play easy mode. And aside from giving you like a bunch of extra shit at the start, this mode just feels like a normal difficulty. If I ran this mode with like the limited resources that the game normally gives you, right? It would just feel like a normal mode. And I'm kind of sad there wasn't a normal mode that was like a middle ground like that, because like that would have been my preferred way to play this. It's my only complaint about the game. I did have a complaint about the tank controls, like, until I got to the clock tower. Then they kind of just became a non-issue, and I was like, okay, yeah, these are actually fine. I still prefer modern controls. Whenever I eventually do my RE1 Remake Let's Play, I'm definitely using the modern controls for that, not tank controls. Sorry, but that's just the way that I am. So, fun fact about that door, I think that's the only door in the game that does that. There are a few doors that are... There's another door later, I believe, that's locked until enemies pop out or something. But this is the only one where you have to try to open the door for enemies to do that. Because they didn't pop out until I clicked the action button on the door. The action button being the X button, which is also what you use to shoot. Which surprisingly was easy to get used to. I thought the controls for this game were going to be like hard to get used to, outside of like the tank controls, of course. I knew tank controls were going to be a struggle. But like, I thought like the controls were weirdly bad, and I thought it was going to be hard to get used to. No, the shooting mechanics, the shooting controls and the dodging and all that actually fits the way the game's played really well. It kind of like took me by surprise because I saw the controls list and I was like, oh, this is going to be a pain, isn't it? But no, it's actually, it really works for the way the game's played. Like, if you gave these controls to like a modern RE game, yeah, I would be struggling. But with like the way this game is played, the controls here are perfect, pretty much. I do have a complaint about like one thing with the controls, and I'm trying to remember what it was. I don't think it's an issue we come into it till later, but there is like one control setting that is a little... Oh, actually no, I already know what it is because I keep accidentally opening the map. So my control issue is the button the map is mapped to. I honestly think if you swap the map and run buttons for this game, it'd be perfect. And no, there's not a control setting that does that. I did look. There's not a control setting that does that. I don't think. If I remember correctly, I don't think there's a control setting that does that, unfortunately. Which does suck, because like if you swap the map and the run buttons, like if run button was on L2 and the map was on square, I feel like that would have been the perfect button setup for this. Because there have been like a couple times now where I'll open the map for like 2 seconds because I'm trying to run and I'm like, oh wait, the run button's on square. Even though the run button was on square in RE1 Remake as well, and I'm used to that, but you know, for some reason I keep thinking that the run button should be on L2 throughout this game, even though I've never played a game where it was on L2. It just feels like something that would fit this game so well, but it's not. And yeah, for the aim is super weird here, like, when you first see the control layout. Because you gotta press, like, the way the aim works is you gotta press either L1 or not L1. You gotta press either R1 or R2, which are usually the shoot buttons for, like, RE games, depending. R1 being, like, the classic shooting button, like the one used for RE1 Remake. I think it's also used for couple other games I'm trying to remember. I don't know. It's used for RE1 Remake. The R1 button is the shoot button for RE1 Remake. But they're used for aiming here. And the dodging and the shoving is something that seems a little random at times. Or it seems like it can be initiated 2 ways. It seems like it can be initiated 2 ways, right? There are some times where, like, I'm, like, spamming the directional buttons, because that's what the the control layout told me was the buttons for, like, dodging. There's sometimes where I spam that, and it works. But then there are other times I don't even push those buttons, right? And I'll press the shoot button instead, and it treats that as a dodge, which is weird. I don't know if, like, that's intended, or maybe, like, I'm just not noticing that I'm pressing the dodge button. That's a good chance. Like, there's a good chance I'm just not noticing that I'm pressing the dodge button. That is definitely a possibility. But who knows? We're gonna put you up now. Yeah, because the assault rifle has a lot of ammo, but we got the shotgun now. You knew I was getting that bitch out. We're saving it though. We're using the not SMG. We're using assault rifle. I'm so used to SMG in RE games because assault rifles are not in that many RE games. Really, I think they're only in RE3 and 4, if I recall. They might be in RE6, but I don't play enough of RE6. Like, I played like an hour of that game and gave it up because I was like, this game kind of sucks. Actually, no, I played like 2 hours. I played 2 hours of it. Right, because I did like 2 or 3 chapters of one of the campaigns and then went, nah, this game sucks. I can't play this anymore. RE6 is my least favorite RE game. Like, even Code Veronica, a game that, like, I couldn't get past the first 5 minutes of, is right higher. That's because Code Veronica at least has, like, the classic RE vibes going for it, which puts it above RE6. Because RE6 is, like, the one game in the series that doesn't even feel like an RE game. I don't like RE5 either, but, like, I could at least say there are parts of that that, like, strike me as an RE game. Right? 6 is, like, the one game of the series I'm like, this does not feel like RE. Even, like, Operation Raccoon City feels more RE than RE6. And that game also sucks. I actually forgot I even played Operation Raccoon City until I just thought about that. So, like, yeah, no. Those are, like, my top 4 lowest ranking RE games right there. Like, RE6 is at the very bottom. Operation Raccoon City would be right above it. Then Code Veronica. Then RE5. Like, RE5 is, like, the least bad of those. But those are the 4 RE games I would never replay if given a choice. That's why you're never going to see, like, an RE5 or RE6 Let's Play on my channel. Unless they make an RE5 remake that's more horror-focused. Kind of like they did, like, the RE4 remake, where, like, it's still obviously an action game, but they did add more horror focus to it than the original. If they did something like that with an RE5 remake, I might be for it. But otherwise, nah. You're never getting an RE6 Let's Play from me regardless. I don't think Capcom is dumb enough to make an RE6 remake. I think they know better. I think that's why there's been rumors that they're remaking, like, RE0, Code Veronica, and RE1 in particular. I know RE0 is almost confirmed. Like, I don't think Capcom themselves have confirmed it, but that's like the connected one that seems to be actually happening. That seems to be actually happening, right? But I don't think Capcom themselves has confirmed any of, like, the next upcoming remakes. But we needed those remakes anyway. Like, not the RE1. We don't really need that one. I think people should just get used to the, like, 2002 remake if they want, like, the story. Or go watch a Let's Play of it if they really can't deal with the fixed camera angles. Like, I honestly think that's what they should do. Like, I don't think they should have to release another RE1 remake. I wouldn't be against it. Like, I would still play it. I would still love it. As long as they include, like, all the amazing stuff the original RE1 remake included, like the Crimson Heads, Lisa Trevor, all that shit. If that stuff is in an RE1 remake, I'll be fine with it. I just don't think it needs another remake. I would prefer, like, Code Veronica and RE0 get the remake treatment, because those are the games that really need one. Like, there's a lot in those games that needs fixing. Like, they needed one more than RE3 needed one. Maybe not RE2. I've seen Let's Plays of the original RE2. I definitely think, like, the RE2 remake is a big glow up. But, I think Code Veronica and RE0 need remakes more than the original RE3, because I'm playing the original RE3 right now, and I think this is the best aged. This is the best aged RE game of the classic ones. Not including RE1 remake, because I feel like RE1 remake is a little more. It's not modern, but it's more modern than, like, the classic trilogy, Zero and Code Veronica, because of all you can do in RE1 remake. Like, RE1 remake feels like it's aged the best out of, like, the classic games. And this is, like, the second best aged. RE0 is, like, the third best, just because you have, like, the modern controls, but a lot of, like, mechanics they tried in that game did not age well. Like, you needing to drop items everywhere was a bad addition. They revisited that mechanic in Revelations 2 and did it way better there. But in Revelations 2, you had a bigger inventory due to having 2 characters, right? You not only had a bigger inventory, but you also had inventory expansions later in the game. you couldn't drop key items, and key items were usually like one or two, were only used once or twice. So they didn't stay in your inventory for too long. That was another, like, thing that... Because, like, I feel like Revelations 2... Until the remakes, right? Revelations 2 was, like, a really good way to modernize the classic RE inventory system. I actually prefer the way that, Revelations 2 just automatically deletes key items after they're used up. I actually prefer that over, like, the remakes and needing you to, like, manually, like, trash them in your inventory. But yeah. And it seems like Capcom may agree, because they brought back that system for, like... Well, they sort of brought it back for RE4 Remake, except the key items don't take up your inventory in that game. RE4 Remake and Village kind of both do it, where like they auto-delete your key items once they're used up. I think that's the way to go. But I also prefer the key item taking up space in your inventory. Like, in all honesty, I think that is like a small like thing I don't like about Village and 4 Remake, which is why they rank lower than RE2 Remake for me. Not the only reason. They rank lower for other reasons too. Like, I think I just prefer like the classic style of RE. Which is why, like, the original RE3 and RE2 Remake are in my top 3 RE games, with Revelations 2 in second place. I'm thinking of doing, like, an RE game tier list. Oh. It's about to go down, isn't it? Oh. Oh, it's a... Oh, shit. Oh, shit. Bye, Brad. Bye, buddy. Bye. Poor guy. I'm laughing, but I feel bad for the guy. Like, he was just running. Guy was just running, just trying to live. Wait, what's happening? Oh. Oh, no. Fight with the monster into the... Bitch! Are you crazy? Nah, I'm going in the police station. Fuck this. All I got on me is a shotgun and an assault rifle. I am not fighting this bitch yet. I need a stronger weapon first. We're gonna get one real soon. So next time Nemesis shows up, we do fight him. But nah, for now, I'm out of here. He beating on that door too. I do not trust staying out here. Nah, we running. We are running. Okay, where is... This is a habit I start developing throughout the game, by the way, is I instantly check the map for, like, what other areas I could enter whenever I enter a new area. And the reason I do that is because, unlike the remakes of RE2 and 3, you can't see your exits when you enter. Because, like, in those games, you can kind of see your exits, like, a little more easily. Here, you can't do that because of the fixed camera angle. So I've been checking, like, where my exits are whenever I enter, like, a new area in general. There's more zombies in here. I hear them. There they are. Hey, buddy. Hey, pal. Hi. Nah, you get out of here. Oh, that one's... I don't like that one's still alive. I don't like that he's still alive. That's problematic. This bitch still alive. Damn. I should have went the other way. I really should have went the other way. Okay, he dead. I was just making sure. Okay. What we got in the side room here? Don't tell me that's... No, don't tell me that's... Don't tell me that's bro. Don't tell me. No. No, don't tell me. RPD. Oh, no. No, Marvin. No. The only reason I knew that was him is because I've seen the original Marvel... No, not Marvel. The original Marvin model from the original RE2 before. So, like, it looked like that. I was like, no, don't tell me. No. They got Buddy. They got Buddy. That's sad. But I'm not even joking. I feel like crying right now. It's not easy to make me cry, but Marvin's like, with how much he helps you with the RE2 remake, that's a character that's always sad to me. The way he goes out. Like, even though like it's different in the remakes, he lasts like a little longer and such. You don't even really see him die in the RE3 remake. It's still sad to me because Marvin's so great. Like, I hate that. I hate the guy had to go down the way he did. Poor Marvin. Like, I do feel sympathy for like Brad in this game, but it's more sad with Marvin because Marvin's great in both the remake. Well, I can't say he's great in the original, but Marvin's so great in the remake, and I've played RE2 remakes so much that it still hits. It still hits every time like he has to die. Like, I hate it. Every time he turns to a zombie, it's so sad. They did Marvin so dirty in these games, I swear. Bro deserved better. Justice for Marvin. Justice for Marvin, man. They did bro so dirty. They did bro so dirty. I was originally gonna have the thumbnail of this video be like Nemesis. But I might make it Marvin, just out of respect. I might make it Marvin. Because bro deserves it. Bro deserves it. Homie deserves it. Buddy deserves it. He deserves it. What's it here? It's a locked... Okay, pass me. It's like... We get the combination for this, by the way, so it's not important right now, but we get it. But bro, they did Marvin so dirty. Anyway, like... Moment of silence for Buddy. Then we move on. Okay, silence passed. Anyway. I just want to move on because I don't want to feel sad right now. I don't want to feel sad right now. I don't. Marvin deserved better. He's like one of the... Marvin is one of the best characters from RE2 remake. He's probably my third favorite behind like the literal protagonist of the game. He's probably my third favorite. My fourth is Mr. X. Mr. X goes hard. Mr. X ain't even a character. He's just a monster that chases you, and he's still like my fourth favorite after like the protagonist in Marvin. But Marvin's so great. Like, I love Marvin. I hate that he had to go out like this. At least like the remakes did him a little more justice because he is alive in both remakes. He does die in RE2 remake, but he's alive for longer than he is in the original, and he's actually alive in part of RE3 remake. What's in this dark room over here? Oh yeah, by the way, I remembered exactly where this room was. The moment I saw the staircase, I was like, yeah, there's a save room right here. Thank you, RE2 remake. There is some areas of the PlayStation that are drastically different here, but like, I do recognize like some of this for the RE2 remake. Okay, what can we put away? We can put away the gem for now. We're not gonna need it. We do need some more ammo. Let's restock that. Yep. Let's go. Now we can put that away. We got enough healing items. We got enough ammo now. We don't really... Let's check the room for loot. Is there any loot in the lockers? Oh, there is. Will you take the gunpowder? Hey, yes, please. Anything in here? No. Lockers are hard to tell if they got, like, items in this game. Because, like... We have to check the action button on them, right? And they don't open up like the remakes. So you have to check the action button on them. If nothing comes up, there were no items in the locker. If something does come up, there were. It's a little hard to tell, but yeah. There are lockers in this game that have items. I wish they would have given a glow effect on them or something. But you know what, it's whatever. The glow effect I'm talking about is the one they used for like original RE4 and the RE1 remake and all that stuff. You know, the thing they did before they added the whole button prompt over the item pickup thing. But anyway, gonna be ending it off here, so bye!